What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Bananas Epic Gaming, and today on Bananas Epic Gaming, we are filming a very special episode of CageTalk. If you know me, you know what one of my favorite TV shows is. One of my favorite TV shows of all time is it's Teen Wolf. And from June 5th, 2011 to September 24th, 2017, I was a diehard Teen Wolf fan. This was my favorite TV show. Top 5 favorite TV shows, and it still is. Whenever a new episode came on during the new season, I would rush home, whether it be from football practice, or whether it be from school, whether it be from working, and I would watch it 3 times that night to make sure that I collect everything. And I love the show. I was so heartbroken when it ended. This show has some of the best characters of any TV show I've seen. I'm gonna go through the McCall pack. You got Corey, who is a chameleon chimera. The chimeras were introduced in season 5. Up next, you got Ethan on the left, who is a former alpha werewolf with his brother, Aiden. Aiden sadly died in season 3B. And we have Jackson Whitmore, who is a former Kanema turned werewolf. And wow, those guys came a long way. And this guy, Deaton. This guy has saved the pact on numerous times, has bailed him out. Theo Rakin was the first Chimera in season 5A. He tried to take over Scott's pack. He lost. He got sent to hell, kind of, to deal with his sister. They brought him back to help deal with the Nazi werewolves and the Ghost Riders, but he remembered Styles. So he kind of redeemed himself in that point, but people love him, and people say that he's a member of Scott's pack, but I would keep him with a distance. More the merrier. Now, speaking of a headache of a character, this guy, played by Ian Bowen, his name is Peter Hale. Peter Hale was the alpha in season 1. He lost his alphaness when Derek killed him and took it. But Lydia brought him back to life near the end of season 2. Season 3, he was regaining his power. And by the end of season 3B, he, I believe, was fully powered up. Season 4, he came back to steal Scott's power, aka kill him. They stopped him. They threw him in Icon House. And then he got taken by the Ghost Riders. Then he got out of the Wild Hunt. And he joined the fight to fight the Wild Hunt. Then he joined the fight to take on the Hunters. Because he saw how much Malia loved Scott. And he's afraid that Scott is going to get himself killed. And he doesn't want that. That is Peter Hale, everybody. Peter, hands down, one of the best villains. And last but not least, Victoria Morales, who plays Hayden. Hayden was Liam's bully slash love interest slash significant other through season 5A all the way to season 6A. In 6B, during the summers, she moved out of Beacon Hills to save her sister, who was a cop, because she got turned into a wolf at the end of 5B. Scott gave her the bite. She was a chimera. She was a were-jaguar. I hope she comes back. I did not mind her. She was a good character, I think. She maybe had more potential, but we never got to see it. Jeff Davis, or anybody, if you listen to this by some miracle, bring her back. At least for a little part in something, if you guys ever do anything. And now, the main hitters of the McCall pack. You got Scott McCall, the true alpha. You got my favorite, Kira Yukimura, the Kitsune. Lydia Martin, the Banshee. Chris Argent, the Hunter. Mason Hewitt, the Human Chimera. Stiles Stilinski, the Human. Malia Tate, the Were Coyote. Jordan Parrish, the Hellhound. We lost Allison Argent, the Huntress. She died in season 3B. Noah Stilinski, the Human, who is also the Sheriff. We got Isaac Leahy, the Werewolf, who disappeared after 3B. You got Melissa McCall, who is Scott McCall's mom. She's a nurse. You got Scott's first beta and Liam Dunbar. And you got Derek Hale, the evolved werewolf. That is the McCall pack. And that's a pretty good pack if you ask me. Some of you are probably wondering, why are we talking about Teen Wolf again? You did the ranking of the seasons. Well, today, 4 years after the series has ended, they announced that they are making a Teen Wolf movie. We're getting a movie, y'all. And they announced that they're also going to be making a show called Wolfpack. That's based off the Wolfpack books, is what people have told me. Because I wasn't familiar with that. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a spin-off. But back to the Teen Wolf movie. The log line that they released with the announcement is, a terrifying evil has emerged. The wolves howl once again, but only a wolf like Scott McCall, no longer a teenager, can gather both new allies and reunite trusted friends to fight back against what could be the most powerful and deadliest enemy that you have ever faced. And that's very interesting to me right there. Because listen to the enemies that they have faced. In season 1, they faced Peter, the Alpha. Season 2, they face Gerard. And they face Jackson, who was the Canada. Season 3, they face the Alpha Pack and the Jurok. 3B, they faced the Nagitsune. 4, they faced Kate Argent, who was a Were Jaguar. Peter Hale, who wanted to take Scott's alphaness. And a Berserker, who was Kate's minion. Season 5A, they faced the Dread Doctors and Theo. 5B, they faced Theo, Tracy, and Josh. Not so much Josh, and not so much Corey, and not so much Hayden, because that was Theo's pack. The Dread Doctors and Labette, the Beast of Joverdon. Season 6A, they faced the Ghost Riders and the Laird-Minch, aka Garrett Douglas. And the final season, they faced the Inukate and the Hunters, led by, of course, Gerard and the most hated person in Teen Wolf, Monroe. And they also faced Kate for like an episode, but Chris Argent took care of her. So all these villains, whoever they are facing in the movie, is greater and deadlier than all these villains. What the heck is going to happen? Are all bets off? Is this like the third and final act? I can't think of anything or anybody that could be as bad as Labette, or the Dread Doctors, or the Jurok, or the Nagitsune, or the Inukate, who literally turns you to stone when you look at him. I'm going to give 5 things that I want to happen in this upcoming Teen Wolf movie. And I heard a rumor that if this movie does well, we could get a trilogy. And I hope that rumor is true. Let's get on to the first thing I want to happen. The first thing that I want to happen, and I believe most people will agree with me, and that is the return of Kira Yukimura. Now, Kira is one of my favorite characters in the Teen Wolf series. She was Scott's love interest from 3B when they met, all the way to when she left in season 5B. She left because she was losing control over Fox, and she went to the Skinwalkers for them to help her control and get everything back to normal for her. And they just wrote her off for season 6A and 6B. And that is one of the reasons why I really don't like season 6, because Kira was one of the best characters in my mind. And she could have been the most OP person next to Paris. And they didn't really write her that well. Hopefully they bring her back and we can get Scott and Kira as Endgame instead of Malia and Scott. Let Malia be with Theo. I'm sorry, but I want Kira back. If not this movie, if this movie does well and we get a sequel, bring her back for the sequel. I mean, there was talks of Kira getting her own spin-off a while back when Teen Wolf was still on the air. And I, for one, speak for the Teen Wolf community, and I say please bring Kira back. Because it didn't feel right that when Scott needed help to fight Monroe and the army, that he didn't even think of Kira. Now, let's get to the next one. Okay, so the fourth thing that I want to see happen is all these questions that we have left over from the series be answered. I'm going to just give you a brief questions that I have, and I hope that they answer them. Like, what happened to the characters after the finale? We get like a 2-year time jump, so it's 2014 in the show then. So I'm pretty sure Scott and his class were the class of 2012. Because some people will forget that Teen Wolf happens within 3 years. Everything that happens in the show happens within from sophomore year all the way to the summer of going off until their freshman year of college. So like 3.5 years, it all happens. J.R. Bourne, who plays Chris Argent, he joined forces with the Wolf without a pack of hunters. So is he the only one that's helping the Wolves? What are Scott and the gang up to? Because we last saw them walking all together, and we get a establishing shot of a town and a full moon. The next question is, where did all the disappearing cast members who were supporting cast members go? Danny, what happened to Danny? What happened to Isaac? We know he was left in London, but I'm pretty sure that if Scott needed him, he would have came back. Brayden, Mara and Morel, I'm sorry. What happened to them? I already touched on Kira because she's one that I want to come back. They need to either kill those characters off or bring them back. Because if we are going to be fighting one of the greatest threats we've ever faced, we are going to need everybody. Did the relationships work out? Did Chris and Melissa work out? Did Lydia and Styles work out? Did Scott and Malia work out? No. Scott and Kira are endgame now. I'm sorry. How does the ending of the TV show change the movie? Because the closing moments of season 6, Scott reveals that more humans know the truth about the supernatural. This is presented as a positive, as Scott notes that humans mostly accept this reality and work with wolves. But it is also likely the case that as news becomes more spread out, chaos will occur. People could ask to be turned for the benefits, such as healing, but without the ability to contain the violent urges that accompany a turn in terms of plot. And Scott's like one of only 2 alphas that we know that are left on the show. And Will Greenberg family debut. Because the longest running joke in the show was that Coach was hallucinating Greenberg. Because we never saw him, but we saw Coach rip on him. Those are a few things that I want questioned and answered. And the last thing is, what is this big threat that we are facing? I mean, it was bigger than the Nukete, the Beast, the Dread Doctors, the Deadpool, the Nogitsune, the Duroc, the Kanema, and Peter. Whatever it is has to be greater than them, and I don't see them doing the vampire route because Jeff Davis said he would never do vampires in Teen Wolf. Now on to the next question. And the third thing I wanted to see is what most people would like to see, and that is that the Sour Wolf, Derek Hill, finding happiness. Derek has had a hard life. When we last saw him, he was launching into yet another conflict by Scott's side. So it would be nice to know that he managed to get some kind of happy ending in the time that has gone past, whether it's by himself or alongside someone special, or perhaps even assisting his alpha and a certain FBI agent known as Stavinsky in their attempts to cover up the evidence of shape-shifting crimes. Now, they could just flat out kill him out, and I think that will be one of the most heartbreaking outcomes that could happen, because everybody loves Derek, but Derek does deserve happiness, and I really want to see him be happy, because he deserves it after everything that he's been through throughout the series. And Tyler Hoechlin is one amazing actor. Let me tell you that. Now on to the next thing. So the next thing I want is a badass villain. Teen Wolf has had some pretty good villains. I'm going to go over the main villains and the secondary villains real quick of each season and tell you what I hope is the next villain. The villain of season 1 was the Alpha, Peter Hill, and Kate Argent. The secondary villains were Chris Argent and Peter's nurse, Jennifer. Season 2 had Matt and Jackson Whitmore. Jackson Whitmore was the Kanema. Secondary villains were Chris's father, Gerard, and his wife, Victoria. Season 3A, my personal favorite. The main villain was Jennifer Blake, who was the Duroc, and Deucalion. Deucalion, he redeemed himself after the season, and he got a crappy ending. I'll just say that. Secondary villains were the Alpha Pack, who were Kali, Ennis, the twins Ethan and Aiden, and the last secondary villain was Peter Hill. Season 3B was the Nogitsune, who was Void Styles. That was the main villain, and that is everybody's favorite villain in Teen Wolf, was the Nogitsune. Secondary villains were the Oni and Severio. Season 4, who had Meredith Walker, who was the benefactor, Kate Argent, and the Berserkers as the main villains. The secondary villains were Bronsky, the Mute, Garrett, Violet, the Chemist, and Peter Hill. Season 5, the entirety of Season 5, were the Dread Doctors and the Beast of Gévaudan, or Labette. Secondary villains were Theo Rakin, the Desert Wolf, Donovan, and Tracy Stewart. Season 6A, the main villains were the Ghost Riders. Secondary were Garrett Douglas. And the final season, The Inukate was the main villain, along with Gerard and the person that everybody hates, Tamara Monroe. Secondary, you had Kate Argent and all of the citizens who were afraid in Beacon Hills, and Nolan and Gabe. Those were the villains throughout the series. And now, what I hope is the next villain of the movie, since this villain is supposed to be the greatest and deadliest enemy we've ever faced. Well, we know we are getting Monroe and her army. I would like to see like maybe a duo or trio. You could have sirens. I mean, they're already huge in Hollywood, and there are so many things that Teen Wolf mythology can do with the sirens of Beacon Hills. You have the opportunity to do a succubus. I know that is far out there for Teen Wolf, but not on MTV. This will be a Paramount movie. Or you can do the Necromancer, and that could possibly bring Crystal Reed back in. It's like buff the Necromancer and make him powerful. Make him the deadliest enemy and the biggest threat we've ever faced. Have him bring back people that we have seen died and have those people turn evil. Could you imagine Scott having to face off against Crystal Reed, aka Allison? Let's think about that for a moment. And now on to one of the things, my number one thing, well, my number two is Kira coming back as my number one. But I already talked about that. But the number one thing that everybody wants to see. A lot of people want to see this. Now, all these things that I've talked about, stated in this video would be nice. But one of the things that was missing in Season 6 was the brothership of Scott and Styles. We need more scenes with Scott and Styles because they are the lifeblood of this show. Because if it wasn't for Styles, Scott would have never became a wolf. These two are the dynamic duo of Teen Wolf. You can't have one without the other. And that's why Season 6 was not really that good, because you didn't have that brothership on the screen for every episode. Scott and Styles are the two people that need to be in this together, and they need more scenes together. And I really hope we get that. And that is one of the top things that we need in the Teen Wolf movie. Do you agree with me? Do you think that we need more Scott and Styles? The answer is yes. But if you don't agree with me, let me know in the comments below. And let me know in the comments below what are your thoughts on my take and what I want. Are they the same as yours? Let me know what you want. And please be sure to like and subscribe. Tap that little bell on that YouTube app so you guys never miss an upload. And we are coming up on the 50th CageTalk. I cannot wait. I've been doing these for a long time, and I'll continue to do these. Thank you guys, and please become a subscriber. I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.